Are you serious? This is torture. You're torturing me and everyone else watching. Wait.
When asked whether Phase 4's main theme is about guilt and consequences, Palmer confirmed that to be the case, saying that Phase 4 is all a reaction by the characters to the events of Avengers Endgame. 100%, because Phase 4 is all a reaction. And I don't mean on our part as filmmakers, I mean the characters. It's a reaction to the trauma of Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. We're still feeling those effects in these movies years later. It's also something we spoke to Elizabeth Olsen about every step of the way. That's for her. Wanda's full journey is leading to a moment of accountability, and we think she's gotten there.
The great line in this movie, basically Wanda says to Strange, you break the rules, you get to be a hero. I break the rules, I am the enemy. Kind of give us your best defense of Wanda in this scenario. I know you've said you're her best lawyer.
Yeah, I mean, that is how she feels. He totally screwed up in Avengers.
I mean, he literally opened the multiverse.
He totally, but beyond that, he screwed up before then with Thanos. So, and he still gets to be, I remember people saying at the end of WandaVision, she has no accountability. She's going to take accountability for herself. She's going to isolate. She's going to think about it, and she's going to grow.
It will be the Scarlet Witch.
Remember at the end of WandaVision, you were like, she's like the villain now.
Yeah.
Why am I rooting for her?
I can see why some people wouldn't like this. I love this.
If she gets America's power, she could enslave the entire multiverse.
Fuck. I'd be a slave for her, though.
I'm going to leave this reality and go to one where I can be with my children.
You created them using magic.
That's what every mother does.
True. Look at her the smirk. Nah, she's carrying it, so I'm a full-fledged Wanda stan now.
I could do this all day.
I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! She gave the look! Oh, that's made it. Alright. Good film.
Fuck off. All of you, fuck off.
It's really fun playing people with moral ambiguity. Why does she settle for just being good when all she wants is something that seems so simple?
One of the things Marvel does so well is that their villains, you find yourself siding with them at times.
I mean, anytime I play a character, I think I'm their attorney. And so I would never pass a judgment on them.
Right.
In this case, Elizabeth Olsen is the Elaine Brederhoft to Wanda Maximoff's Amber Heard. Welcome, one and all dear viewers, to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse medley of mish-mash madcap madness, the triumphant nail in the coffin for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in which it eradicates any and all forms of logic, care, character, world building, and good writing that was still left over in the MCU up to this point, which is very fucking minimal. And in this eradication, Marvel Studios gave us one of the most confusing and insulting pieces of Marvel media to date. And that is really saying something, considering the lineup of Phase 4 so far. We open the movie on an action sequence involving a variant of Doctor Strange and newcomer America Chavez running from a toilet paper demon who is specifically after Chavez's powers. Keep this in mind. And our heroes are after some magical bullshit called the Book of Vishanti, which will help them win the day, but we'll get to that. So Strange is using freezing magic and boulder crushing magic to keep the demon contained, but unfortunately it's too strong and he can't contain it. So I guess we will ignore all of the possible options Strange has here to avoid this demon and get himself and Chavez to the book, like, for instance, the bloody sling ring. Actually, that's pretty much all you need, to be honest. Like, portals are extremely overpowered. But, you see, that's off the cards, because this Doctor Strange has no sling ring. Isn't that special? So, all seems lost and Strange decides to sacrifice Chavez so the demon cannot get her powers, and it appears he isn't explicitly killing her, he is absorbing her powers, which will in turn kill her. Man, it's a good thing this is a very time-consuming process for the sake of tension to build up to the moment where he gets fucking impaled in an instant, rather than, I don't know, a more instantaneous method of extracting Chavez's powers, or just killing her outright by conjuring up a magic sword or something and being done with it. If the goal is to sacrifice her so that her power that she cannot control is not taken by the demon, why not just kill her and have the power gone forever? Why have this incredibly time-consuming method of extracting the power just so that Strange can now have the power which he says he can control, apparently? Why would you take such an incredibly stupid risk like this? The power is still present, so this demon will still come after you, presumably, and as we learn later, the person who summoned this demon will keep coming after you as well. This is a terrible plan, Steven. Just kill the brat and be done with it. Movie over. Go home. But of course, this doesn't happen as it makes too much sense. Instead, as I've already said, Strange gets impaled mid-speech about how her sacrifice in the grand calculus of the multiverse is more important than her blah 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 yada yada yada. It's the same quote from No Way Home, basically. And then this demon suddenly comes down with a case of lacking object permanence because America's plan now is to just run and parkour right through the fucking creature, even swinging on one of its ribbon things like a pole, and the stupid thing just ignores her until she is inches away from grabbing the book because tension. Fuck a duck. What you are witnessing here, dear viewers, is this movie's frustrating tendency to activate plot armor at the most insulting of times and then to deactivate it on a whim to fool you into thinking there are stakes, and also for the sake of cheap shock value. Doctor Strange utilizes his best magical arsenal that he has, which is embarrassingly limited, and gets impaled in an instant. Meanwhile, Chavez just runs in a straight fucking line and almost makes it to the book. What a joke. So the demon now, in another case of confusion, just grabs Chavez but does fuck all other than screeching in her face and not taking her away. So in the meantime, Chavez does some reeing of her own and opens a portal, sucking her and dead Defender Strange through it, but not before Strange throws some magical blades that slice through the paper monster very easily. Like, holy shit, that was effective. You probably should have led with that and kept doing it. I'm going to be saying this a lot for the next action scene. Oh joy. And we now cut to our original Doctor Strange waking up from a horrible nightmare, which turns out to be the exact same events we just saw, but we will get to that stupid explanation later. Now we follow our Strange attending Regina George's wedding with some confusing tone-deaf dialogue between Strange and Michael Stuhlbarg's character from the first Doctor Strange movie, wherein Dr. Michael here says how he lost his cats during the snap, and then Strange rolls his eyes, annoyed at the prospect that a human being could ever possibly be emotionally attached to an animal they loved and cared for because comedy? Then we cut in with the dramatic stinger that Michael also lost his brother, and Steven is disarmed at this and says he is sorry. Okay. This will be very apparent going forward, but this entire script is really, really, really strange. But enough of that nonsense, let's get to the meat and bones of this shit steak with a sudden interruption from a monster wreaking havoc on New York named Shumagorth? Gargatos? Cyclops Octopus. So Strange starts fighting Cyclops Octopus, who is currently chasing after America Chavez. And oh boy, oh golly gee, when you realize who is sending these tentacle-themed creatures after Chavez, and why, just great writing, but we'll get there. So throughout this whole action scene, and in fact throughout this entire movie especially, there is a severe case of sacrificing pragmatism for the sake of a cool factor. Spells and action sequences that I suppose look cool in isolation, but in the context of these events in this movie and what we know about our supposedly intelligent sorcerer characters and what they can do with so much sorcery potential, it brings the brain cells to the boiling point of confusion as to why these characters would make these choices in these circumstances. Defender Strange in the opening shooting ice blasts and boulders at a spaghetti demon when later he uses magical blades to slice it up with ease to save Chavez after he gets impaled and dies. And now our Strange, who sees a car barreling towards a mother and her baby in a pram, decides to, instead of just using any other method of solving this problem, he decides to summon a giant cat head monster thing to bite the car in midair and then to disappear the cat head monster thing so the car just falls to the ground. What is there even to say? I mean, I guess it worked, but Or was that the optimal solution to this otherwise mundane task for someone of Doctor Strange's power and intellect? Because, to be fair here, this doesn't disappear the car, and luckily for Strange, the car doesn't continue tumbling down the road for a few more yards after the cat monster head vanishes. But really? Like, that's what we're working with here? Okay then. So now, whilst Cyclops Octopus tries to get Chavez when she hides in a bus... great plan, kid. I can't wait for people to defend this action by claiming, oh, she's just an inexperienced, stupid, scared teenager. She's not always going to make the best decisions. It makes total sense in this context. So Strange saves her, but not before using one of the bus parts he just dismantled to very easily slice off one of the Cyclops' tentacles. Holy fuck, that is effective. You should continue doing that because it obviously worked very well. But then the octopus hurls the bus at Strange and... For the love of fucking God, Doctor Strange, we need to have a long sit down and chat about having some bloody pragmatism. The fucking pieces just split out and keep flying off and crash behind them. Who knows who that could have hit? Ah, forget this shit. Wong joins the fight now, out of the fucking blue, after Strange gets distracted by wanting to have a conversation with Chavez during this monster destruction catastrophe. Again, fantastic intellect on display by our characters. And he gets knocked out very easily by the octopus, so America runs away some more in what is some comically horrendous green screen. And it's now Wong's turn to be the ineffectual sorcerer who lacks the concept of pragmatism because he needs to look cool, flipping and whipping his scorpion weapon from Mortal Kombat. And yet again, we are at intelligence 100 as Wong uses this long-range weapon in incredibly close quarters to the Cyclops. Ah, yes. I remember that one scene in Star Wars where they had a lightsaber duel and the two Jedi were frantically swinging their swords at each other and thrusting forward to stab one another while being 50 feet apart. But even when Wong switches to an actual close-range weapon, he ends up caught by the octopus. But of course not killed instantly, just grabbed and stared at for a little while because modern movies are fucking allergic to real stakes and tension, and the monster continues chasing Chavez. It's very intense. Strange's cloak flies her up some buildings, but the octopus has pitch-perfect aim, I guess, and hurls a motorcycle with some random dude who was still on it, who is dead now. Gee, thanks Doctor Strange and Wong, that's another innocent person on the death toll of this fucking movie. And the motorcycle crushes the cloak, trapping it for about a minute until it just wriggles free in the nick of time to save Chavez again by blinding the monster, and then Strange finally kills the monster by summoning purple hands to grab a lamppost and impale the creature in the eye and have it pop out. Gee, maybe you should have led with something like that. It was extremely effective. Well, that's finally over now. We can get to Strange and Wong questioning Chavez back at the Sanctum. Oh, no, scratch that. A fucking cafe for some reason, wherein Chavez explains her multiverse traveling powers and the Book of Vishanti, which apparently grants a sorcerer anything they need with no drawbacks. Yeah, I don't see something like that being abused to fucking hell and back by an evil sorcerer, but I guess that's not possible because they don't address that, so we'll never know. We also get some of that biting Marvel comedy.
Man.
What man?
Spider-Man. He has the powers of a spider.
Climbs walls, shoots webs.
Yeah, bingo.
Out of his butt?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
She also gets snarky because this Strange doesn't speak Spanish, because it's okay to automatically assume that 1, anyone that is clearly an English speaker can just speak Spanish, and 2, that any Doctor Strange in any other universe can speak Spanish because you've met only one other Doctor Strange that can speak Spanish. This person is supposedly our multiverse expert, character/plot device, and yet she comes across like such an antagonistic moron, which seems to be in line with the MCU's current character writing, so it's consistent, I suppose. Moving away from that now, Chavez takes the sorcerers to the corpse of Defender Strange, who has miraculously wound up in the same spot Chavez did when they went through the portal in the intro, despite him being a literal dead weight when he was sucked through the portal. So now they discuss keeping Chavez safe at Kamartaj and where the monsters came from, by spotting the fact they both had runes all over their bodies, to which Wong and Strange respond with, "This isn't sorcery, it's witchcraft." Not sure if there's even a discernible difference between the two, but the movie seems to think there is despite the lack of explanation, so fuck it. And thus, from there, we introduce Wanda Maximoff into the story, as she is having the sad tism dreams about her fake children who aren't very good at acting, and as she tends to her orchards, Doctor Strange arrives to ask for help because of the runes he saw. So rather than assuming she was somehow involved with these monster attacks, he decides that this must be the work of a completely different witch who is targeting Chavez. Does he think this is Agatha Harkness or something? But that would be silly, because he explicitly mentions the events of Westview and how he retardedly isn't going to make Wanda face the consequences of what she did because, quote,
But you put things right in the end, and that was never in doubt. I'm not here to talk about Westview.
Ah, Strange, you moron. And if he knows about these events, he also knows that Wanda is a witch too, and that Agatha remains imprisoned in Westview. And again, if he knows Wanda is a witch and Agatha is kept prisoner still, then that leaves only one possible suspect, Strange. We also start to introduce the internal conflict between Wanda and Strange, where Wanda just wants to peacefully kidnap and murder a teenager to steal her powers so she can go and kidnap 2 more children from another universe who don't belong to her because she had to get rid of her fake children. Whereas Strange here wants to, well, stop her from doing that because it's batshit fucking insane. Man, what an asshole, am I right? So arrogant. What a hypocrite. How dare you try and prevent this grieving mother from causing mass destruction in New York, putting innocent lives in danger, only to end up murdering innocent people so she can get to another innocent person, then steal her powers to go to an alternate universe and murder that universe's innocent Wanda and steal her children away. How fucking dare you, Steven? Do better.
You've got to do better.
Your children aren't real. You created them using magic.
That's what every mother does.
Fuck off. Wanda then goes on to chastise Strange about protecting a girl who is apparently not a child, but a supernatural being who could wreak havoc, so Wanda is justified by doing murder, despite Doctor Strange being a superhero who, you know, protects people when their lives are in danger, when some crazy witch is trying to kidnap and kill them. How the fuck can Wanda be this completely dense and devoid of any self-awareness? She's in the Avengers, for fuck's sake. How is this not coming through her thick skull? Well, the obvious answer is that we have hack writers and producers making these movies, with their personal morality and ethics being as fucked up as marinating a chicken in Mountain Dew. Thus, we come to the infamous trailer line that sparked the initial conversation going into this movie about Wanda's sympathetic motivations and Steven's apparent arrogance and hypocrisy.
You break the rules and become a hero. I do it and I become the enemy. That doesn't seem fair.
So, let's start with Strange. When he and the other Avengers in Infinity War fought Thanos on Titan, prior to the fight, Strange had used the Time Stone to see into the future and see all the possible outcomes of the conflict, and he saw only one that resulted in their inevitable victory. Now, I recognize that there was absolutely, most definitely, more than one way the Avengers could have beaten Thanos, and that the outcome we got was the only way is kind of bullshit, to be honest. However, this is not a point against Strange, this is a point against the writing of Endgame, which has a long slew of issues. But we have to see things from Steven's POV. He saw only a single outcome that results in them winning. So from this point of view, he absolutely made the only choice available to him that would lead to saving the other heroes and the universe. This decision is what leads Wanda to calling him a hypocrite who broke the rules and was celebrated while she broke the rules and was vilified. Yes. Do you know why? Because Strange broke the rules to save the world. It was not a flippantly made decision that was motivated by arrogance or selfishness. It was a calculated decision that was brought on by prior knowledge of the Avengers' victory. It was in service to others, to the universe. Meanwhile, Wanda fucking Maximoff broke the rules in service of herself. And by rules, I am of course referring to the law. It started in Westview when she mentally enslaved an entire town and then proceeded to flee the scene of the crime and avoided the consequences once the authorities arrived, and here we are full fucking circle with Wanda once again committing heinous acts for the same selfish and sympathetic motivation of, "Oh, but my baby boys need me." We cap the scene off with Wanda threatening to take Chavez by force, with her saying the Scarlet Witch will come for her if she is not handed over peacefully.
And if we don't?
Then it won't be Wanda who comes for her. It will be the Scarlet Witch.
Oh, scary! Oh, shiver my timbers! Shut up, man!
Yes, because up to this point, Wanda has done a tremendous job of being fucking peaceful, right? Now we come to the Kamar-Taj Fortress defense against Scarlet Witch, where she could not have possibly made a more villainous fucking entrance by appearing through a black cloud. So Strange approaches her, and Wanda is annoyed that Strange would protect this child he met yesterday. I will just refer you to my previous comments where I mentioned that Doctor Strange is a fucking superhero. I know that word is alien to you right now, Wanda, but just try and activate those fucking neurons in your brain for more than a few seconds so you can understand what Stephen is doing right now. But Stephen Strange is not exempt from retarded comments in this movie, because his response to that is this.
Wanda, you are justifiably angry.
I know it's our job to help this guy and everything, but I think this guy's a lost cause. He's obviously made up his mind. Why don't we just cut our losses and get out of here?
Wanda also proclaims she has been reasonable. Strange, in an act of surprising intelligence, calls this bullshit out immediately.
Book of the Damned, calling yourself a witch, conjuring creatures to abduct a kid. I don't exactly call that being reasonable.
Wanda then adds on to her shittiness by saying the fact she didn't go and abduct Chavez herself was mercy? My god, who are you and what the fuck have you done with Wanda Maximoff? So this triggers the very reasonable magical assault that Wanda starts unleashing on Kamar-Taj, and the method in which she achieves breaking the magic shield is, to put it bluntly, contrived as fuck. So the initial plan on her end is actually in keeping with prior movies like Age of Ultron, where she gets into people's minds and takes advantage of their fears, which she does to this one guy. Not only does she not just do this to a dozen more of these sorcerers, but this one sorcerer is the cause for the entire magical shield defense to break down. Why? Well, because he bumped into a couple of people once he ran away. So not only does this make the people who are lightly bumped into completely stop trying to maintain the shield by dropping their arms and staggering back like a bouncer just shoved them out of a fucking nightclub, but suddenly random magic beams just start disappearing for God knows what fucking reason, and this allows Wanda to enter the temple. Brilliant. Just brilliantly written conflict. I'm on the edge of my seat because I want to leave. So now we get some brutal and violent, reasonable carnage from Scarlet Witch on these innocent people, and we get another glimpse into the incredibly sad state of Doctor Strange's pathetic uselessness in this movie, because amidst all this destruction and death, with the infamous Scarlet Witch raiding this temple, with Stephen being one of the most powerful magic users of all time, along with the official Sorcerer Supreme, Wong, and dozen more sorcerers fighting beside him, plus Stephen having faced the likes of Thanos by himself in the past. What, pray tell, do you believe, dear viewers, is Strange's next course of action to fight this threat?
Get ready, everybody. He's about to do something stupid.
So yeah, he just fucks off and runs away like a bitch and simultaneously leads Wanda directly to America Chavez. Oh no, it's fine. Actually, he led her into a mirror dimension trap. Well, holy shit. One of your most OP spells ever, which is established in prior movies that once you are trapped in the mirror dimension, there is absolutely zero escape, unless you have a sling ring. Well, shit, that's a bit anticlimactic, but hey, it makes sense. Easy way to deal with the situation, that's for sure. Now roll those motherfucking credits and mid-credit scenes, and let's get the fuck out of here.
But wait! There's more!
So Wanda escapes from the mirror dimension just cause. She just leaves. She leaves by just touching the surface and goes through reflections, like that is just the outright explanation from Strange for her doing this.
Reflections.
She's using the reflections.
Yet another inexplicably powerful and fucking contrived skill that the Scarlet Witch has, so we can just avoid the very useful tool that is the mirror dimension, because it's very likely that the writer Michael Waldron was just like, well, you see, that gets in the way of our story if it's that easy to beat her, so we just made it so that it doesn't work on Scarlet Witch because she can specifically travel through reflections now. Man, it's really fucking unfortunate for Strange, and lucky for Wanda, that the dimension she was trapped in was a mirror dimension with reflections. If only it was the goddamn black fucking wallpaper dimension, then she would be royally fucked. Strange, Wong, and America proceed to cover all the reflections in the room they are trapped in, but America decides to act like a Down syndrome child spotting a butterfly and takes a good moment to stare at this fucking puddle so we can have this stupid eyeball jump scare. Whoa, hang the fuck on, let's roll back here. So while Wanda is still technically trapped in the mirror dimension trying to escape through reflections, she just poofs Steven's sling ring out of fucking existence the exact second he started to use it? Holy fuck, it is so blatantly transparent that the writers just so desperately want to get rid of these super useful magical utilities ASAP, because it just fucks them over immensely, and it's very hilarious to watch this unfold. Mirror dimension? Oh, well, it doesn't work on Wanda, because reflections. Sling rings, which, by the way, are possibly the most powerful and useful items the sorceress could ever have, well, Wanda just magics one away from Strange, despite her having absolutely zero ways of knowing Strange would use it in that exact moment. I don't buy for a second she had the ability to do so given the situation she was in, even with the whole reflection traveling bollocks. So, after Wanda crawls out of a bell with some honestly very fucking wonky CGI, we get some more sympathetic dialogue from her.
You gave all those lives just to keep me from my children.
And Strange rightly responds,
You took those lives.
How the fuck can anyone watch these interactions and come away with feeling any semblance of understanding or sympathy for Wanda's goal here?
I'm not a monster, Steven.
You've got to be joking. You fucking joking.
I'm a mother.
No, you ain't!
And again, Strange responds with yet another obvious response. In fact, it's the same thing myself and every other rational human being on this planet who saw this movie was screaming while they were watching this scene.
Wanda, you have no children. They don't exist.
But Wanda's reasoning is as follows. You see, because the kids exist in alternate universes, that means she does have kids, and that she's been dreaming about them, so that gives her some sense of ownership of them? You silly bitch, that's not how people work. You are not the same person as your alternate universe self. And while we're here, let's briefly go over this dreams are our alternate universal selves bullshit. Earlier in the movie, Chavez explained to Steven the reason that he saw her in his dream is because, get this shit, dreams are actually visions of your alternate self from another universe. Ignoring how utterly stupid this all sounds and the fact that it's made definitive for everyone because Wanda experiences the same thing, ultimately it's just the most convenient fucking plot device I've ever seen in a Marvel movie. And that's saying something, because it is just so darn lucky that the one time that Doctor Strange dreams of his alternate self, it is the exact alternate self that is currently alongside the movie's other plot device, America Chavez, which sets up the entire plot of the rest of the movie's runtime. Fuck me, how lucky for Strange that he dreamt about this incredibly crucial plot information regarding not only seeing Chavez, but also the MacGuffin Book of Vishanti. It's super convenient for him that he wasn't dreaming of a completely different Doctor Strange in another universe at that time, considering there are... how many universes again? Oh yeah, infinite! It would be very awkward if he was dreaming about, I don't know, Earth 7269 Stephen Strange, just sitting at a table having afternoon tea and crumpets with Wong. Alongside this, we have Wanda, who seemingly also only dreams of one other version of herself that has 2 sons, and even in this apparent wonderful life with her family, Vision is fucking nowhere to be seen because this movie, and on occasion even Wanda, just neglects the fact that he ever bloody existed. It would be extremely sensible right about now if White Vision got off his fucking ass instead of contemplating about existence or what is the meaning of life or am I Vision or a ship of Theseus and just fucking come down here and calm your woman the hell down, please? Isn't Sword supposed to be looking for him too? Fuck it. Doesn't matter. Let's move on. So Strange, yet again, asking a very valid question here to Wanda.
What if you reach them? What happens to the other you? What happens to their mother?
And in a not-so-shocking turn of events, Wanda responds with the very sympathetic and reasonable reply of not saying a fucking word and going straight into a murderous rage because she has no justifiable response because she knows she's in the wrong and she's a horrible monster witch. This fight, as with most of the magical action scenes in this movie, is, to put it plainly, lame as balls. Doctor Strange summons a Hydra from his hands and hisses for some reason, and this works on Wanda for about 5 seconds before she just goes, nah, fuck this, and poofs all of them away at once, so Strange does nothing else, which allows Wanda to fling him away, so he's now defeated. And then Wong tries hurling some magic blades, but Wanda stops them, and then flings him across the room. But he bonks his head, so he's done for. Our fearless and all-powerful Sorcerer Supreme, everybody. A big round of applause for him, you love to see it. So now Wanda starts absorbing America's powers, and while Strange is across the room being extremely not helpful by watching this all happen, Chavez activates a portal, so Strange launches himself at Chavez through the portal to make their escape. So, question. If America Chavez's powers were being absorbed in this moment, how in the bloody fuck can she activate her powers? Seems like the exact scenario where you wouldn't be able to use your power, because, you know, it's being taken from you. On that note, Chavez herself described that her power activates when she is scared, or basically when in high-stress situations. So why the fuck was it not activated in this high-stress situation that is literally the same as the one you're in now? Your power is being absorbed out of you and you are clearly scared for your life, but no star portal in sight. It's almost as if that rule for her power is a temporary placeholder for manufactured tension, so we can have an extremely lazy payoff in the final act. Because if her powers activated when they were supposed to in the countless amounts of scary high-stress scenarios she's got herself in, the movie would be over. And we don't want that to happen, now do we? Strange and Chavez are now stuck in Earth 838, where we learn a very confusing revelation about America Chavez.
This universe doesn't have a me.
What?
None of them do.
First of all, why in the fuck are you the only America Chavez in the entire existence of the infinite multiverse? That's silly alone. Secondly, how can you know this? Because in your words...
'Cause I've looked.
You... looked? The hell is that supposed to mean? What, you checked every single universe that exists, did you? While you were hopping through universes randomly as a child for years with a power that to this day you cannot control, and in the meantime you seem to have had some spare time on your hands to just go looking to see if other America Chavezes exist, even though, again, this is a power you can't control. She also mentions she knows this because she doesn't dream.
And 'cause I never dream.
Well, I suppose it's fucking settled then. Can't argue with that logic. Except by asking how in the blazing hell do you know this for certain, and why would you come to this conclusion ever? Considering, and I can't stress this enough, there are infinite universes, and America has apparently been to 72. Did you not think that maybe there are alternate universes where you are, for example, dead, not born yet, don't live in New York, don't live in the United States, don't even have powers to begin with, isn't even a girl because the Loki TV show stupidly established that you can have an alternate self in another universe that is technically you but is actually the opposite gender, and too many other circumstances to count. But America's just decided based on the unbreakable concrete logical through line of, nah, it's just me, trust me bro, I checked. America suggests they use the Book of Vishanti to defeat Wanda, so they go look for this universe's Doctor Strange as he might have information on how to acquire it, which leads them to the Sanctum Sanctorum, but before that we have to discuss a certain moment as Strange and Chavez walk through the city streets. Allow me to first ask a question of you watching. So let's say you are a screenwriter for this movie, God forbid, and your job in this scene is to somehow get these two characters to connect connect on an emotional level by somehow expressing their current feelings and thoughts at this moment in their lives. The question being, how would you go about doing this? I'll give you a moment to think before the obvious, totally not retarded correct answer reveals itself. Okay then. If any of your solutions involved something to the effect of both characters having a conversation in an attempt to relate and sympathize with each other, you'd be 100% but fucking wrong, idiot. You never thought to throw in the only sensible option, which is these two characters stepping on panels on the street, which activates a screen that shows them both very specific memories that showcase moments in their lives to describe what they're feeling in this moment, without the need for that pesky annoyance called dialogue. We see Strange having dinner with Christine where he receives his watch, and America's totally not hilarious origin where her powers activated because of the intense fear of a fucking bee landing on her wrist, so her parents got sucked through the portal along with her. This is real. This was written by a human, allegedly. This was then filmed on camera and made to be taken seriously as an effective method of storytelling and character interaction. This lazy, contrived shit. The fucking memory store that sells memories? I suppose? Fuck. Moving on, they discover that this universe's Strange died defeating Thanos, and now the new Sorcerer Supreme is Baron Mordo. Oh yeah, shit, Mordo. Remember him? He turned into a villain after the first movie, but I guess they didn't want to carry that story over now because... So anyway, this Mordo is friendly towards Strange and tells him and Chavez about the Darkhold's evil powers and that every universe has its own Darkhold. Keep this shit in mind for later. We also learn about the super special spell called Dreamwalking, which allows a sorcerer to invade and possess the body of their alternate self in another universe. But the link is only temporary. It's not mentioned how temporary, of course. The writer needs to keep it incredibly vague, so we're not questioning the time frame of the possession. In this case, temporary could be anywhere from 6 hours to a fucking week. We just don't know. During this conversation, we get an incredibly tired trope, which someone of Doctor Strange's intelligence really shouldn't be fucking falling for, especially because he has some trust issues going into this conversation with Mordo. You see, the tea was spiked with the Sands of Misanti, which we later find out when Strange is handcuffed, it stops sorcerers from using magic. But I guess it's also a knockout drug? Whatever. Moving away from that, Scarlet Witch is now dreamwalking into Earth 838 Wanda. And golly gee, isn't it just the luckiest fucking thing that the exact same universe where Wanda wants to go to her children is also the same universe where America Chavez and Strange randomly ended up in the end? Because remember, she can't control her powers yet, so the universe destinations are still random. Man. This whole collection of coincidences makes it very easy for Wanda to complete her goal of getting Chavez. Very easy indeed. However, Wanda hits a slight roadblock. While still in Kamar-Taj, Wong is being held hostage. But suddenly another sorcerer lady is still alive, and the plan here is to just destroy the book. How exactly are you by yourself going to destroy the all-powerful, corrupting Book of the Damned? Are you a skilled enough sorcerer to be able to conjure a spell powerful enough to destroy such a thing? I'm pretty sure the Sorcerer Supreme would have some trouble with this thing. I mean, what the hell is your plan going to be? No!
You gotta be fucking kidding.
She just stabs the thing with a knife, and the book just fucking disintegrates out of existence along with the Lady Sorcerer. Well, holy shit, that was a bit of a goddamn design flaw when making that cursed book, don't you think? Maybe use that thing called magic and make a spell that makes the book immune to such basic fucking attacks and make it so it can only be destroyed by a very specific curse/spell that also, just like here, kills the person who destroyed it. Well, bloody hell, how very awful and anticlimactic. But the credits are definitely rolling now, right? Nope. Wanda is even more pissed now and interrogates Wong about how there must be another way to use the Darkhold's power, and if Wong were a smart person here, he would just outright tell her, no, you crazy witch, the Darkhold was just destroyed. That's it. It's over. Or just fucking lie and tell her what she wants to hear so she'll back off for a while and give you a fighting chance against her because she buys it immediately when Wong just shouts out, "The Darkhold wants a copy!" But, as it turns out, it was in fact a copy. So Wong just stupidly ignored the fact that the destruction of the fucking multiverse is at stake here and straight up told her everything. Maybe don't tell the evil Scarlet Witch that there is another method to dream walking. Specifically, it is the original Darkhold that Wong tells her about, which is a temple in the mountains of somewhere or other that, get this, controls every Darkhold in every universe. Whoo boy. So first of all, good fucking Jesus Christ on a bloody stick. We have possibly the most contrived and luck-based plot convenience, not only in this movie, which is filled with them, but throughout the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. Bold claim, I know, but it's not if you start thinking about it for more than 0.25 milliseconds. It is astoundingly lucky that the one instance that we see the Darkhold getting destroyed and Wanda throws a fit, not even knowing for sure that there is another way to use the Darkhold's power, and not only is there a second original version of the Darkhold that houses all of the spells, but it just so happens to be the only Darkhold temple that exists across the multiverse, and it just so happens to exist in the very same universe where Wanda needs a second Darkhold to achieve her goals. What in the blue blazing fucking hell am I watching? Secondly, why would this place exist at all? Wong is very familiar with this place, him being Sorcerer Supreme and all, and considering this is in fact the infamous evil corrupting Darkhold that contains chaos magic that can bring about the destruction of reality, and the book itself is described by Doctor Strange as the Book of the Damned. So why on earth would you as the Sorcerer Supreme, or any magic user or non-magic user who happened to know of this temple's existence, would allow it to exist in the first place considering what it does? Just nuke the fucking thing. Or use a spell, because you know, magic is very useful and broken in this universe. Maybe don't allow the evil chaos magic temple to exist for someone to use later. Not to mention how moronically easy it was to destroy the Darkhold book when all you need is a fucking sharp utensil. I don't believe the temple would be much trouble either. This will be relevant later, dear viewers. In the end, Wanda makes Wong take her to the temple by giving him a sling ring from a dead sorcerer. Keep this in mind as well. And we move away from that nonsense for now, so I can stop myself from having a heart attack talking about it, to instead having an aneurysm talking about the next scene of events. The infamous, astoundingly perfect piece of cinema that is the Illuminati scene. Let's fucking go. Strange and Chavez wake up in Glass Cube prisons, and we discover this lab is run by this universe's Christine, and she makes it clear that she does not want to discuss anything about their relationship in Steven's universe, or what they were to each other in this current one, because in the grand scheme of things, in the lore of the multiverse, none of it matters, as they are not the same people. Even though Christine has been telling him details about herself and information about the multiverse, including the seemingly random numbering system of each Age universe, which this movie so gloriously retcons the MCU into being the 616 universe, despite it not being 616, but Earth 19999, or however many fucking nines it is. And it is in fact the comics universe that is 616, but it seems that Kevin Feige is being a greedy little piggy by wanting to have his cake and eat it too, so here we are. Mordo appears with Ultron security robots. That's rather neat, until you realise in a later scene they are very, very shit, and so Strange is being summoned by the infamous Illuminati.
The Illumawati?
Why did you say that? It's not that fucking complex of a word. You have that word in your universe, Steven. What the fuck is wrong with you? Unfortunately, before we get to the Illumawati intro, we have to go back to Wanda and Wong making their way to Mount Wundagore by way of sling ring. Why am I emphasizing the fact that Wong has a sling ring? No particular reason. Wanda then says what I'm thinking.
You couldn't portal us up there?
And Wong replies,
My magic can only take us so far. Masters of the mystic arts weren't meant to tread upon the forbidden grounds of Wundagore.
Now, this is an interesting little factoid, because Wong, being a master of the mystic arts, does in fact tread upon the forbidden grounds of Mount Wundagore. So which the fuck is it, Wong? You can't use magic there? You can't use magic to get there? Or you can't physically be there? Because all three of those things happen. Wanda does in fact technically use her magic to take them both straight up to the mountain, or are we going to ignore that and justify this as her being a witch and not a master of the mystic arts because it's witchcraft and not sorcery? It's totally different, guys. One is red and one is orange. It makes sense, so shut your mouths. Wong explains that this tomb was built eons ago, with spells inscribed on its walls that were later put into the Darkhold. Then these really scary and intimidating and totally not useless wastes of fucking oxygen in this plot. Demons pop out and they begin kneeling to Wanda as she discovers this is not a tomb, but it is in fact a throne to the Scarlet Witch. How exciting. Back to Earth 838, Mordo begins introducing the Illuminati group of chucklefucks, but before we get to that, we intercut the introductions with him saying his name is Carl, which Steven finds humorous. This is funny because Carl is a funny name, so I'll just call him Carl and we can get our first dose of cringe from this scene as Peggy Carter introduces herself by randomly throwing her shield at Strange like some angry caveman because the filmmakers wanted a cheesy reveal with Peggy doing her stupid power stance with the shield even though we just saw her in this shot. And her involvement in this movie was spoiled in the trailers, but never mind. Next is Black Bolt, or Blackagar Boltagon, who Marvel normies pretended to be excited about seeing. Captain Marvel, but not Carol Danvers, so upgrade? She's still a snarky bitch in this universe because the mantle of Captain Marvel is fucking cursed. Next is the big reveal that wasn't spoiled by the trailers, amazingly, is John Krasinski as Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic. Oh, that's so cool. How did Kevin Feige even think of that casting? Something that was one of, if not the most mainstream MCU fan castings ever. Gosh, how does he do it? He's such a genius. He has everything planned out so meticulously in the MCU. Remember when this movie was first announced and it was promoted as being a horror movie with the character Nightmare being the main villain? Oh, no particular reason why I brought this up. I just thought it might be interesting to think about. And on that note, I thought this might be a good time also to bring up these little nuggets from the first Doctor Strange movie that massively contradict the entire multiverse plot / saga of this movie, and even Loki's entire one sacred timeline bullshit.
They allow us to travel throughout the multiverse.
This universe is only one of an infinite number.
Very interesting indeed. Anyway, we get some more of that MCU comedy to undercut all of this.
Didn't you guys chart in the 60s?
I'm sorry, is this a joke to you?
Be grateful Black Bolt doesn't engage you in conversation.
Why? Does he have bad breath?
To anyone who follows my content regularly, I mentioned in my review of What If Episode 1 that Marvel are hell-bent on turning every single one of their main characters into snarky line quippers. And Doctor Strange does not seem to be exempt from that fact either. Regardless, why the hell is it being so douchey and comedic in this circumstance? Chavez is still in the glass prison, and the psychotic evil Scarlet Witch is on her way here to kill everyone so she can kidnap Chavez. A little more urgency would be very much appreciated here, Doctor Strange. You aren't acting like yourself. Have a fucking Snickers, and remove yourself from the terrible writer's influence, as impossible as it may be. But we need Strange to play along with this fiasco so we can have some wonderful exposition from Mr. Fantastic about incursions, with them occurring when the boundary between two universes erodes and they collide. And Reed mentions, just with Strange and America being here to begin with, destabilizes reality. Keep that shit in mind. Peggy says that their Doctor Strange created the Illuminati to make the hard choices and are deciding what to do with this Strange and Chavez. Well, considering what we just learned from Reed Richards mere seconds ago, how about sending them the fuck back to their own universe? You know, seeing as we just explicitly established that merely being in another universe risks an incursion, and the bigger footprint you leave behind, the higher chances of that incursion happening. Not even sure how in the shitting hell America Chavez hasn't caused one or even multiple of these, considering how long she stayed in universes and how many she has traveled through, which was 72, I believe. Jesus Christ, that's lucky for her, isn't it? Stephen finally shows a bit more urgency when he mentions the Scarlet Witch being a larger threat right now. Captain Marvel responds with this.
Oh, we can handle your little witch if she decides to dreamwalk.
No.
Spoilers. They do in fact not handle that little witch. We also hear from Reed Richards how Doctor Strange himself is a threat to the multiverse, and in fact every Doctor Strange apparently is a threat to the multiverse. This mindset completely shits on the whole idea of the multiverse as a storytelling / character writing tool, and implies that every single version of Stephen Strange in every universe is always going to be a self-serving, arrogant arsehole who always needs to be, quote, holding the knife, despite the fact the actions that are talked about with Earth 838 Strange plus our Strange were not self-serving. For better or worse, they were in service to saving the universe. Jumping back now to Wanda and Wong, where they are discussing her completely mentally fucked rationalization for what she is trying to achieve. Wong, being an actually smart person, asks Wanda if she can control Chavez to send her to any universe where she wants to be with her fake kids. Why even take her power knowing it will kill her? And Wanda, being the ever so sympathetic and reasonable person she is, says this.
For Billy and Tommy, to protect them. What if they get sick?
I beg your pardon?
In the infinite multiverse, there's a cure for every illness. A solution to every problem.
You dumb?
I think she's dumb. I think she's dumb.
Are
you, like, medically speaking, are you like
I'm not trying to be mean. Like, are you dumb?
I think she's dumb.
I think she's dumb.
I think she's dumb. I think, do you think she's dumb?
Wong again has a moment of being the actual reasonable person here and calls her out, saying she can't control everything. Then Wanda's like, yeah I can, because she's really smart, you see. But she says all she wants is her boys, who aren't hers, and then Wong snaps at her saying this.
At the cost of a child's life, is there no peace in knowing that even though you can't be with the ones you love, there are worlds where you are together?
And Wanda's response to this is basically, well, retardedly childish would be understating it.
No.
Some of the fucking pills.
You've got to be joking. You fucking joking.
I am so fucking baffled at this alleged character and her nonsensical motivations and choices. So, I guess Wong is dead. He was very far away from the cliffside and his little sorcerer rope knife didn't stick to it, so there he goes. Wanda now having control of the Darkhold Temple, she dreamwalks into Earth 838 Wanda, then promptly leaves her goddamn children at home by themselves so she can go murder some more people and kidnap Chavez. Mother of the fucking year, right? Back to the Illuminati now, and I almost forgot our final member of the Illuminati, as did the movie, so that we can have this nice little reveal. It's Patrick. I really am way too old for this shit, but I would also really like to buy another house, Stewart. He begins explaining how Earth 838 Doctor Strange died, and while he and the rest of the Illuminati defeated Thanos, it is revealed 838 Strange used the Darkhold to dreamwalk for some reason. It's really not explained any deeper other than Carl saying, in the hopes that our salvation might lie in the multiverse, whatever the hell that means. So the question would be, what fucking answer could the multiverse have to kill Thanos that you don't already have in this universe? You have fucking Black Bolt, Captain Marvel, Mr. Fantastic, and Professor Bloody X on your team. I think you'll be fine here. You can just have Xavier shut Thanos' brain down, then get Black Bolt to swoop in and scream "fuck you" at point-blank range in Thanos' face. So back to Earth 838 Strange's plan, if we want to be good faith here, and we really shouldn't be, as this movie has not earned that, we can infer that 838 Strange dreamwalked so that he could find the Book of Ashanti. But as we've seen, and we'll find out through dialogue later, that the book is not located in any specific universe. It's actually placed in what's called the Gap Junction, the space between universes? Between universes. Fuck's sake, okay then. This is all giving me serious Crisis on Infinite Earth vibes with its ridiculous multiverse rules.
This is the vanishing point. It's a point outside of time and space.
Reed chimes in, saying that their Strange had admitted to dreamwalking and had caused an incursion that destroyed another universe. But the Illuminati ended up using the Book of Ashanti, which Stephen helped them find, to beat Thanos in the end. And Charles says that they did this after Strange renounced the Darkhold's power. So we can just brush off that good faith inference I mentioned earlier, because the movie has just made it easier for me to shit on it some more. Because if Strange wasn't using the Darkhold to find the Book of Ashanti, also side note, why didn't you just use the Darkhold to defeat Thanos? It's pretty fucking powerful. But anyway, the only way the Illuminati could have found the Book of Ashanti is that the book just so happened to be located in their own universe, or they somehow discovered, or they already had prior knowledge of, multiverse travel to make it to the Gap Junction, take the book back, beat Thanos with it, and then for some godforsaken dumb reason by which I don't know how or why this happened, the book was placed back in the Gap Junction. But having only 838 Doctor Strange have the ability to go there with it being locked off behind a door that can only be opened with the watch Christine gave him, because remember everyone, multiverse law means that every single character and their backstory is exactly the same in every universe. Earth 616 Stephen Strange gets a watch from Christine that breaks, and so does Earth 838 Stephen Strange. 616 Strange destroys his hands. 838 Strange destroys his hands. It's like poetry. It sucks. During the explanation of their fight with Thanos, we even get a nice mind flashback showing that the Illuminati even executed Doctor Strange because he was, quote, the one last threat that remained. Meanwhile, characters like Wanda are allowed to roam free with zero consequences despite the heinous and villainous acts she has committed. We also see Thanos' corpse and... Are you fucking kidding me, guys? You couldn't have dealt enough damage to Thanos that was equivalent of stabbing him in the heart with his own fucking stupid double-blade sword, no less? Was that really worth getting the Book of Ashanti if this was the end result? My god, you're all fucking worthless. And where are the rest of the fucking superheroes in this universe, by the way? 838 Wanda Maximoff is a stay-at-home mother. Fuck knows what happened to everyone else, or if they even exist. Anyway, Black Bolt is the one tasked with killing Strange, and wow, that is some extreme power you have there. And that was just from him saying, I'm sorry, relatively quietly. I sure hope that power doesn't backfire on you in a very gruesome and stupid way later. So, 616 Strange is distraught by this information going on about how they built a statue in his name, but Peggy says, we made the difficult choice because we knew what our Strange was capable of. What perhaps every Doctor Strange is capable of. I swear on my fucking life they need to stop with the whole every Doctor Strange and every human being alive is exactly the same in all universes premise, or else I'm going to inflict self-harm on someone. We now interrupt this chit-chat for the glorious upcoming action scene as Wanda has infiltrated the planet's worst security system with the shittiest artificial intelligence robot guards who slowly walk towards her while occasionally firing their lasers. Holy fuckballs, even robots close the distance in action scenes. So now while the Illuminati go and deal with Wanda, Professor X suddenly has a change of heart and starts telling him to find a way out of the building, save the girl, and here's the crucial line.
Save the girl and get to the Book of Vishanti.
What, you have the book here?
Yes, you built a waypoint.
Good God. So first question, if at the end of the conflict with Thanos after the Illuminati, along with Strange, found and used the Book of Vishanti to defeat him, and then after killing Thanos, they immediately execute Doctor Strange, then how in the big bald fuck did Doctor Strange build a waypoint to the Book of Vishanti while he was fucking deceased? Unless the movie is telling us that when the Illuminati found the book, Strange was quickly like, oh, really quick guys, sorry about this, I know we have to kill Thanos, he's trying to kill half of all life in the universe and everything, but I just need to quickly build a secret waypoint which somehow Professor X will know about, and Christine will know about, but no one else, I guess for some reason, or maybe they do know, but if they did, why the fuck would they allow me to do that? Anyway, I need to build this secret passage leading to the book, which I'll place in the point between universes. How am I able to get to such a place? I'll, you know, magic and stuff. I just put a watch in a door and poof, I'm there. You know how it is. But yeah, anyway, let me just do all of that. And then we can actually use the book to kill Thanos. And then you can kill me. Sound good? But I won't tell you about how you get through the door to get to the book, even though we'd literally just use the book to kill Thanos. So it's yours now. Okay, bye.
I'm sorry.
Jumping over to Christine and Chavez now, we have Wanda very, very slowly walking towards America's cage and, oh no, oh gosh, there appears to be an incredibly poorly timed random malfunction happening on this control console that operates these cages because the building is being breached. Jesus, it sure is unfortunate that this sophisticated multiverse technology doesn't have a single button press to open the fucking door. No, we need Christine frantically pressing random buttons on the keyboard for about 5 minutes while Wanda walks towards them at the speed of someone who definitely, really desperately wants to achieve her goals of being with her fake children as fast as possible. Now, gentlemen and ladies, we arrive at the ultra-iconic, mega-infamous, cinema-defying, logic-defying, intelligence-defying, enjoyment-defying, aneurysm-inducing confrontation between Scarlet Witch and the Illuminati. Let's fucking go. Reed Richards, the smartest man alive, don't forget, doesn't necessarily start off that bad here. He attempts to talk her down to a degree by trying to get some level of empathy out of this crazy witch by mentioning Wanda has taken over the body of an innocent woman, that being Earth 838 Wanda, who, by the way, before we get into the riveting action coming up, is in fact a much weaker version of 616 Wanda, as it is a different body, which is confirmed by our beloved resident lawyer of the evil witch, Elizabeth Olsen, by the way. Reed pushes further by bringing up his children who actually exist, and that he understands Wanda's pain, and good old Wanda Maximoff says this.
Is their mother still alive?
Yes.
Good. There will be someone left to raise them.
Smart-ass motherfucker!
Oh, my good God, Wanda, you are such a cunt. So hearing this very sympathetic reply, Reed decides to utilize his moniker as the smartest man alive to turn towards Black Bolt and say, alright Black Bolt, tell her how she can get to her kids, but make sure you get really close to her before you say it. Wait, that doesn't happen? Oh yes, I remember now, because this movie is poorly written and wants to insult its characters and the viewer's intelligence. Reed Richards, the smartest man alive, decides to do this.
Wanda, Black Bolt could destroy you with one whisper from his mouth.
I mean, what the fuck else can I say about this that hasn't already been mocked relentlessly for the last few months? Why would he say that in that specific way? He didn't even say something to the effect of, Wanda, stand down. Black Bolt can kill you in an instant. But no, the stupid elastic shithead says he can kill you with a whisper from his mouth, essentially describing the power and how it works. Gee, thanks, Mr. Fantastic. You are truly the smartest man alive. So Wanda, of course, takes advantage of this and teleports his mouth from existence, and Black Bolt, being the stern badass he is, starts panicking and frantically feeling up his face. Then he screams like a little bitch and explodes his brains to death. Wouldn't his shouting powers blast through the skin to make a mouth hole? Nah, who cares? So the other team members are just standing around being shocked, looking like lost special needs children with surprised Pikachu faces, and the smartest man alive springs, or I suppose stretches into action by slowly reaching out his arm to, what exactly, grab Wanda, and then promptly gets spaghettified and gets his head popped like a fucking birthday balloon. So what exactly is Captain Peggy and Captain Thundercunt doing in this horrifying situation while their friends/colleagues are dying? Absolutely fuck all!
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
Well, Wanda just killed two very powerful superheroes with ease. I'm sure these two won't... Oh. Peggy Carter lasts longer than Mr. Fantastic, Black Bolt, and even Professor X combined in a fight against a magic user. Oh, that is so neat and cool. I'm cooming and pissing in my trousers watching this epicness. Say, what's Captain Marvel going to do right now? She's quite powerful, right? Oh my Jesus Christ almighty, you guys suck! While this amazing fight rages on, we cut back to Doctor Strange and Carl arguing because Stephen actually wants to do something right now to fight Wanda, but Carl is all like, no, Doctor Strange, we have to wait for the others to get back so that my vote may conclude these proceedings. Motherfucker, your headquarters and universe is being invaded by an evil psychotic witch. Where are your bloody priorities, Carl? Back to the fight with Wanda and Peggy and...
Haven't you had enough? I could do this all day.
How dare you stand where he stood?
Seriously, fuck this movie to the moon and beyond. That is not your line, you thief, you plagiarist. So, after stating she can do this all day, Peggy immediately gets sliced in half with her own shield. I mean, what the fuck did she expect to happen? So, this allows Captain Marvel to wake up from her cozy nap and start firing her lasers with some super not cringe, trying hard to be badass dialogue.
Get the hell out of my universe!
Okay. So how does this fight conclude, you may be asking? Captain Marvel is quite possibly the most overpowered superhero in Marvel right now, other than the Scarlet Witch, of course, seemingly unkillable with no discernible weakness. Well, fear not, because this movie has the answer. Wanda just beats her. Yeah, she just starts breaking her silly mask off her face, moves her arms extra hard, causing an explosion. They both get blasted away, and then Wanda kills Captain Marvel with a fucking statue. You know, people have genuinely been defending this by saying that Wanda absorbed Captain Marvel's powers, which is why her mask came off and why she was killed so easily by a fucking statue. First of all, the mask is part of the Kree battlesuit. It is not linked to her powers. This is made evident by Jude Law's character in the Brie Larson Captain Marvel movie, where he summons a helmet over his head and face. And he does not have the super orange god powers last I checked. Second of all, this absorbing powers mechanic from Wanda was not made visually clear, nor was it stated to be a thing in this movie with any dialogue. Your pathetic desperation in defending things like this just means you are writing for the movie, and you refuse to let the writing stand on its own. And guess what? It sure doesn't. All of this was because the writers wrote themselves into a corner by having these two overpowered bitches come into conflict only to realize, oh shit, we need Wanda to win, so she just does. And that's all this is. Come to think of it, how does Wanda even have the capacity to absorb powers from others? Because it isn't a Scarlet Witch specific power, as I understand it, as Doctor Strange is able to do the exact same thing to Chavez. So why the fuck doesn't Wanda absorb the powers of Strange, or Wong, and all of the other members of the Illuminati for that matter? Perhaps it is because it's something the writers pulled out of their assholes to make Wanda capable of using America's powers. However, there is evidence later in this movie that shows Wanda is perfectly capable of using Chavez as a guinea pig to activate her powers and open a star portal anywhere she wants. But look, I get it, right? Wanda wants the power for herself indefinitely to protect her fake children because she is very sympathetic in her goals of child murder. Well, just murder in general. Moving on from that complete fucking train wreck, we go back to this car wreck with Strange and Carl, and Steven has an ingenious plan to escape here. He's going to shit-talk Carl. No, seriously, that's what happens. And of course it works like a charm, because no matter the character, no matter the context or situation, intelligence is selective. So then Carl, the supposed intelligent and all-powerful Sorcerer Supreme, makes an incredibly stupid decision fueled by childish rage, wherein he will blatantly disregard the protocols of the Illuminati, of which he was completely cool with following not 5 minutes ago, but will now straight up murder Doctor Strange in cold blood because, grrr, he said very bad, mean words to me, and that made me angry in the face, so I will begin killing him now. Just fantastic, very gripping, and relatable character conflicts happening here right now. Classic drama at its best. But rather than using some kind of elaborate sorcery to kill him, Carl opts instead for a much more hands-on, brutal and bloody murder by way of chopping up Doctor Strange with a fucking sword, because Carl Mordo is a hero. This allows Strange to use his handcuffs to block Carl's sword strikes, thus breaking the cuffs in half, allowing him to put one half of the cuffs onto Carl's wrist, deactivating his magic. Gee, it sure is fortunate that Carl doesn't know how to stab with his sword, or else this fight would have been over in seconds. And it's also good for Strange that this sword Carl has isn't even a real fucking sword. It's just a fucking handle, and the blade itself has to be conjured up with magic. And this concept has literally zero benefits compared to just using an actual bloody sword, or just any melee weapon. So from my understanding of the sorcerer lore in Marvel was that they used enchanted weaponry to enhance the weapon's capabilities through magic. But here, Carl just has a sword that needs magic to actually appear. Doesn't have any special additions to it, like reaching out 30 fucking feet like Sephiroth's sword, or turning into a whip blade or some shit. No, what Carl essentially has here is a shitty lightsaber. Not much more to add here. Strange and Carl have a generic kung fu fight, and this cool fight caps off with Steven jumping off Carl to climb out of this random pit that's in the Illuminati council room for some reason, and Carl fucking Mordo, the Sorcerer Supreme, is defeated by a shitting hole in the ground. Ah, yes, the rematch of the century between these two characters. I sure hope it was worth it for you all. Back to the Scarlet Witch scene, and oh, for fuck's sake on a stick, this clumsy twat waffle is still fucking around trying to figure out how to get Chavez out of this hamster cage.
You sealed shut!
Yeah, no shit, Christine, it's a fucking cage. And of course Wanda has to play the villain decides to walk very fucking slowly trope because we don't know how to write real tension anymore. So during this time, Christine decides to use a fire extinguisher to break the glass. Yep, good luck with that. And this prompts Chavez to use her punchy star powers, and the two ladies take a moment in this life or death scenario to have a whoa moment. Please take note of how much damage this punch does to this glass when America is not fully in control of her powers yet. It will be relevant later. Wanda finally arrives at the cage, and look who else finally decided to show the fuck up out of nowhere. Where the hell have you been, you decrepit imbecile? Well, this fight is surely over now. Professor X can just freeze her in place and shut her brain down completely. He is an Omega level mutant after all, the most powerful telepath in the world. Even the Scarlet Witch should have some trouble with this, right? Of course not. Instead, Charles begins aimlessly wandering through 838 Wanda's brain, only to find the mentally trapped Wanda buried under some rubble with a TV playing WandaVision sitcoms? Because yet again, we have to remember, every fucking character is the exact fucking same person in every shit fucking bastard universe. Charles tries pulling innocent Wanda out of the rubble, but red smoke starts creeping up on him. Innocent Wanda gets pulled away, and by the look on his face, it seems to me he is aware something horrible and evil is coming his way to kill him, but he just does fuck all for some reason. That's great. Well, because Charles Xavier is having a Joe Biden moment right now, this allows Scarlet Witch to swoop in with a jump scare for the kill. How in the blueberry muffin fuck does snapping a neck in a mindscape world, whatever it is, snap the neck in reality? I guess this mind thing operates on the Matrix rules and not Inception rules, I guess? Fantastic. I hate it. Well, now that the Illuminati characters have been thoroughly assassinated, metaphorically and literally, we can get back to the main plot, where we see Christine and Chavez meet up with Strange, and also, where the fuck have you been this whole time? Just flying around the building aimlessly? Christine said they took the cape for testing, so what, as soon as the building was breached it was able to escape? Or did it just happen to escape right this very second when these characters meet up? I'm sure Doctor Strange would have appreciated some assistance from you earlier, you cape fuck. Anyway, we have Christine being a stubborn, stuck-up bitch because Strange wants to use the Book of Ashanti to save the universe and do hero things and save people and all that cringe shit. But this bugs Christine because, man, no, Steven always has to be holding the knife. He's only out for himself. He's so selfish. He's just doing this for him. Oh, I see now. So when the Illuminati want to use these book powers, it's all good, but when Doctor Strange wants to use the Book of Ashanti to defeat evil, suddenly, oh wow, Doctor Strange, always holding the knife, always going it alone, how fucking dare you? Just stop. Also, he's a different person. Fuck your multiverse rules, they make no sense. Chavez, of all people, has to be the one to point this out to Christine, the multiverse expert no less, because America and Strange have now shared a touching moment all of a sudden, in the form of a hug, and she sees now, despite Strange being extremely helpful to her since the very second they met by saving her life multiple times, that this Doctor Strange is a good guy and can be trusted, and he's not like the other Doctor Strangers, even though your ponytail Doctor Strange was still saving your life, even as he was dying, and was just doing the right thing to save the universe. But no, he, quote, betrayed you, so fuck that guy. This convinces Christine to pull out the Eiffel Tower-sized stick up her ass and help Strange get to the Book of Ashanti. So now we have a very thrilling and stupid foot chase with the spooky music as Wanda chases the group. I mean, come the fuck on. Is jogging really the most efficient escape method here, Doctor Strange? You can fucking fly, and you are a sorcerer. Do you not have a single spell in your arsenal that can at least, oh, I don't know, propel you the fuck forwards at a much faster rate? Come to think of it, Wanda is fucking running as well. You moronic bitch, you fly all the time. You flew to get to this fucking place. Why stop now? Ah, I see now. It's so that we can have the quote-unquote horror nonsense as Wanda stumbles around looking like a fucking decaying flesh-eating zombie because, oh my gosh, it's an Evil Dead reference, it's a Sam Raimi, look, it's a Sam Raimi reference, I clapped at the reference, I understand movies, me a smart cookie. But also it's because we need some of that juicy fake tension this movie likes to parade around, because if you have two characters in a chase sequence moving at roughly the same speed, the audience is thinking to themselves, oh gosh, I sure hope the good guys get away and the bad guy doesn't catch up with them. Just remove the fact from your mind that the two characters in this context are the most powerful magic users in the entire world, then you can consume all the product to your heart's content. We do have a sudden stoppage in the chase where our protagonists stop to look back at Wanda being all creepy opening this door. Alright, Strange, now is your chance to use your supremely powerful magic and fight her off while Christine and Chavez continue making their escape. Be a hero.
Go, 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 go!
Why do I even fucking bother? So there's more running and Wanda keeps blasting open the steel doors that keep coming down. Gee, how about you use some of that magic on the fucking people you are chasing, Wanda? Look at how many chances she has to do, well, fucking anything. Do some reality warping bollocks, some telekinesis, or hurl one of those red magic blasts at Strange. Please do something other than just run like a psychotic zombie. But suddenly Wanda decides to stop running for this last door because reasons, and our team of heroes decide in this moment not to keep moving ahead and get away, but to just fucking stand there. What in the cinnamon toast fuck are you absolute plebs doing? Oh, I see now. It's more of that tension I keep seeing. They're just waiting for the Scarlet Witch jump scare. Let's give them a second.
Where did she go?
Well, we're waiting.
Fuck off. All of you, fuck off.
Oh my god, there she is, how scary. This really is a horror movie. It's like an Evil Dead reference. You son of a bitch, Kevin, you've done it again, you genius. I shit you not, this moment of standing around doing fuck all while they wait for Wanda to jump scare them goes on for 30 goddamn agonizing seconds. Now you might think, well, that's not that long. Trust me, when it's this silent and none of the characters are doing or saying anything, you really feel that 30 seconds go by. You know that feeling where you stare at a clock and the time seems to go by a lot slower than if you were just to ignore it and go about your day? That's what this moment feels like. Now, it appears that this is the crucial moment where Doctor Strange decides to get off his ass and do something to fight back, and wait, where the fuck did Wanda appear from? She came from the side of the tunnel through the wall? There was no explosion, so she didn't create an opening, because if she did, there would be some instant flooding right about now. As Christine said, this tunnel is underneath the river, so did she phase through the walls and swim around? Or are we going to start saying that Wanda can travel through fucking shadows as well as reflections now? Because Lord knows that the Scarlet fucking Witch doesn't need any more abilities to make her power level off the charts OP. Anyway, Strange does a magic blast to the ground, and that starts breaking the tunnel apart, causing a flood, and Strange seems very confident that he didn't just murder innocent Wanda.
Did you kill her?
No, just bought us some time.
If you say so, Stephen. This in fact does buy them just exactly the right amount of time necessary to make it to the book. Not sure why it keeps Wanda busy for this long, considering she seemingly teleported through the river and the tunnel walls earlier, but hey-ho. So, in the meantime, the group gets to the door that leads to the gap junction that holds the goody good book, but it has a super secret mechanism to unlock it. It requires something personal that belonged to Stephen Strange, and Christine pulls out the watch she gave her Strange, and it slots in perfectly to open the door.
Here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
You're seriously not going to add on some kind of fucking enchantment or unbreakable spell that only Doctor Strange can get rid of? Fucking anybody can just snatch your watch away, go down through this tunnel and simply put the watch in the door, and they have instant access to the point between universes where the all-powerful Book of Vishanti is being kept. It's fine though. It seems that lacking basic intelligence is also a core character trait among every single Doctor Strange in the fucking multiverse also. So now our team of heroes enter the gap junction as Christine bluntly explains for the sake of the doorknob lickers who love these shitty movies.
This is the gap junction, the space between universes.
Thank you so much, Christine. That literally tells me nothing about this place. And now, because time is seemingly not of the essence right now, what with a crazy psychopathic witch chasing them, Stephen takes his sweet time grabbing the plot device that will grant him guaranteed instant victory in this conflict. So of course this means we have another jump scare moment with Wanda appearing from thin fucking air again. Come on, seriously? Shit, how did none of you notice her coming through that door on the way down to you? Christine and Chavez are fucking fucking deaf and Doctor Strange is fucking blind. So Wanda has caught Chavez once again, but now Stephen Strange has acquired the ace in the hole, the instant win conditions of the Book of Vishanti, which grants a sorcerer anything they need to defeat an enemy. So finally, here's Doctor Strange's chance. Expel that evil bitch out of innocent Wanda Maximoff's mind and lock her away in the darkest, tiniest fucking hole in the ground and destroy the key. Or just outright kill her. I don't give two flying fucks at this point, to be honest. This evil hoebag has more than earned a death sentence with what she has done to countless innocents, and I'm not even including WandaVision in that. If you add that on, then she has earned death doubly so. Okay, Strange, lay it on her. Be useful for once in this fucking vomit stain of a movie.
I haven't got a brain. Only straw.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
Might have been incredibly prudent and intelligent of you if you were to use the book that gives you instant victory, Stephen, you fucking pineapple. And I guess we can assume that unlike the Darkhold, the Book of Vishanti doesn't exist in every universe, That's stupid and convenient for the plot. You'll love to see it. So Wanda has acquired Chavez and has sent Strange and Christine through a portal to another universe, with no possible hope of escaping, I'm sure. So, roll credits, right? I mean, I shitting hope so, because I sure do hope that we don't encounter yet another random set of contrivances that allow Steven and Christine not only the time to get back to Chavez, but also the methods necessary to get back. And while this all happens, Wanda takes her sweet fucking time, equivalent to the length of a fucking Windows update, to absorb America's powers. That would be so silly, it would just tism my flism. Right, so let's get into all of these things that do actually happen in the movie, because this movie hates you. Just briefly before that, we see innocent Wanda set free from her mind control and makes her way back to her boys. And man, I don't know about all of you, but she is royally fucked now. She is either going to prison for the rest of her life or getting an execution. I mean, I don't know what the rules are in that universe, but holy shit, Wanda Maximoff killed the entire Illuminati except Carl. Congratulations, Scarlet Witch, because along with taking the lives of the innocent, you now also ruin the lives of the innocent. Very sympathetic and reasonable of you. Going back now to the final act of contrivances in this pile of cow turd movie, Chavez and Wanda have a quick exchange about Wanda's actions.
This isn't what your children would want.
They'll never know.
Maybe not, but you will.
Alright, first of all, this line heavily pushes forward Wanda into obvious villain territory. Not saying that the last hour and a half of this movie plus WandaVision hasn't already done that. I mean in the sense of Wanda becoming self-aware of her evil bitchiness. Because a line like this suggests that she absolutely knows what she has been doing to achieve her goal is morally reprehensible, to the point where she will keep this knowledge hidden from innocent Wanda's children after she kidnaps and presumably brainwashes them too, because how in the fuck could they, quote, never know when she wants to invade that other universe personally, kill their Wanda, and take those kids for herself without the use of some morally dubious magic to scramble their brains and forget about their real mother only to worship and love you. My goodness, I cannot stress enough how bloody sympathetic and reasonable this character is. It's so heartwarming. Now we see what Doctor Strange and Christine are up to, and it appears they have been transported to a universe where reality has collapsed in on itself.
It's like this reality collapsed in on itself.
Okay, let me just spit out a vast number of issues already with just seeing 5 seconds of this scene. 1. When Wanda has captured Chavez and has Strange and Christine in control with her powers, instead of just killing them ruthlessly with no hesitation, she instead, for the sake of plot armor and for plot progression, she sends them off to another universe. 2. This universe they have been sent to is a world where two realities have collided, meaning an incursion has happened, meaning these universes have been destroyed. So if they have been destroyed, why are they still here? How can these universes even be places that you can travel to anymore if they've been destroyed. Are you starting to see now, dear viewers, about my point of the nonsensical and inconsistent rules of the multiverse in this franchise? Is it becoming obvious that this was written by the same guy who wrote Loki, which had its own nonsensical and inconsistent time travel and multiverse rules? And number 3, might be a nitpick, but I feel it's worth pointing out. I like that Doctor Strange, who only learned about incursions 20 minutes ago by the way, just confidently describes this scenario as 2 realities collided, despite him not knowing at all what that would even look like. He was just told by Reed Richards that incursions are a thing that can happen, and here's how they happen. But then I remember that Marvel movies are made for brain-dead man-children consumers now, and so this line was just so they could understand that this is indeed what has happened to this universe. Strange and Christine make their way through this world, and Steven says that if this universe has a Sanctum Sanctorum, then there is probably another Doctor Strange that can help them. Steven, you fucking watermelon. Did you forget already that when you entered this universe, it was a decaying hellscape that you yourself said that 2 realities collided and there are clearly no signs of life, but you're very confident in the assumption that another Doctor Strange is just chilling out in the Sanctum while the universe falls apart, instead of him being, dead. Also, lucky that they were transported to New York. Again, remember those contrivances I mentioned earlier? Well, here's the first bunch to rear their ugly fucking heads because yes, this universe's Doctor Strange is in fact still around, is in fact still hanging out in the Sanctum Sanctorum, but this time, this Doctor Strange is And now, in yet another example of the everyone, especially Doctor Strange, is exactly the same in every universe trope, evil Doctor Strange asks 616 Strange to prove that he is in fact a Doctor Strange from another universe, and our Strange talks about how his sister Donna died by drowning and he couldn't save her.
We had a sister, Donna. She died when we were kids. Playing on a frozen lake, she fell through the ice. I couldn't save her.
This is the only piece of character backstory that ever so slightly delves deeper into Stephen Strange's mindset, and it's fucking wasted. Now, you could interpret this information as to the reason why Strange became a surgeon in life because of his guilt of not being able to save a loved one. And so he dedicates his life to being the best doctor possible and saving everyone he can, and this idea is further bolstered by some moments in the first Doctor Strange movie.
When I became a doctor, I swore an oath to do no harm, and I have just killed a man. I'm not doing that again. I became a doctor to save lives, not take them.
However, in this scene, it's just a placeholder for actual character development, and it's just a cheap method of having the audience go, "Aww, that's a sad thing that happened to him." Okay, moving on. It would have been a nice change of pace if Evil Strange just undercut this emotional revelation with him going, nope, never had a sister, because, multiverse bitch, we're not all the same, despite this movie trying to convince the audience that we are. It is later revealed that evil Doctor Strange has the Darkhold on him. What a surprise that the evil guy has the evil book. And it's very fortunate for our Doctor Strange that Evil Strange has this book that will allow our Strange to return to his universe. On another note, I find it incredibly amusing that everyone unanimously agrees that this Doctor Strange is categorically evil for abusing the Darkhold's power, even so far as the movie dubbing him as Sinister Strange. Also, Illuminati Doctor Strange was condemned for using the Darkhold that one time before he renounced it, but I don't see people coming out of the woodwork to defend these characters' honor by bringing up that they were, quote, corrupted by the Darkhold's influence, so they weren't responsible for their actions. No. This defense only seems to come up with a completely different evil character who uses the Darkhold for selfish gain. Very interesting indeed. Anyway, Sinister Strange brings up how Christine asked if he was happy at her wedding, because remember when that happened to our Strange? Did you know every Doctor Strange is the same? And so this leads to obviously Evil kills Strange, revealing his obvious evilness by saying he's been going around different universes killing different versions of Doctor Strange. Holy fuck nuts, this really is Crisis on Infinite Earths level writing, isn't it?
Lex is jumping from universe to universe, killing off Superman.
And this is because he was originally trying to find another universe where he could be with another version of Christine, but I guess he got triggered because there weren't any Christines around, so Stephen Strange genocide is the next logical step, I suppose. I would also like to point out the very subtle parallel between Sinister Strange and Scarlet Witch using the Darkhold for selfish gain, then losing their way, chasing a dream they can no longer have, and spiraling into an evil, self-pitying mess of a person. But, as mentioned earlier, this guy is explicitly portrayed as the evil, shit-eating, grin, murdering bastard who wants to kidnap Christine, and this bitch is supposedly sympathetic and reasonable. Someone please shoot me in the mouth. This then begins the ever so meme-worthy and stupid musical notes fight scene, and all I can really add to this is ask, why? Why is this the main theme of this battle between two extremely powerful sorcerers, one of whom has the fucking Darkhold at his disposal? Maybe one of those chaos magic spells would do the trick of killing the other guy. I mean, this wouldn't be much of a topic to discuss in this moment if, say, there was only a single instance of our Doctor Strange seeing the sheets of paper with music written on them and then deciding in that split second to use them for a spell attack like he does anyway, but then change to something a bit more powerful and useful as the fight progresses. But no, we need this to be cool looking and sacrifice practicality, and guess fucking what? Those two things are not mutually exclusive. You can do both, but Marvel lacks the imagination and talent to do both, so they stick with what will make the brain-dead loyal fans in the audience clap and leave their mouths agape the most. The battle ends when 616 Strange plays a single harp note, and this for some reason is enough to break the magical music tug-of-war the two Stevens have going on, which causes an explosion that sends Sinister Strange flying through the window to his death. Wow, not even a sling ring to teleport back? No cape to have him fly back through the window? Truly a formidable, terrifying, and intelligent opponent our Doctor Strange just overcame. You just love to see it. Cutting back now to Mount Wunderbar, and we see...
He's supposed to be dead!
My God, you cannot convince me that this shit excuse of a story isn't a parody of a superhero movie like Thor Love and Thunder. Just look at this nonsense. How does this happen? This motherfucker is knocked out, so he presumably hit his head on this fucking rock surface. And not only that, how does one go from falling off a cliff like this to landing on a precarious spot and staying there unconscious like this? So Wong is basically like, that was weird. Alright, time to put myself back into the plot by having my rope spear thing suddenly work when it didn't work earlier when I was falling, so I can scale the cliff edge, and it's not as if I have some type of magical traveling item on my fingers that allows me to open portals anywhere so I can get up to Wanda in 1 second. Nope, no such item exists in the world of the sorcerers. Must climb for dramatic effect. Also, after all this time of Strange and Christine walking and walking and stopping and walking and walking and talking and fighting, and then cutting to Wong sleeping and waking up and looking up and climbing up and camera panning up, Wanda only now begins the process of draining Chavez's powers. Shit, dude, characters are just not allowed to be practical or even mildly proactive and intelligent in this frustrating brain exercise of a movie. And don't you panic, my lovely impatient viewers, this power-absorbing ritual is also extremely fucking time-consuming, because this movie knows how to make real tension. Oh, and by the way, Chavez, this is a very stress-inducing and scary situation you're in. Why don't those powers of yours that you can't control yet suddenly activate so you can escape Wanda like you did last time? No? Nothing? Okay then. Screw me, I guess, for using the old brain while watching movies. While all this is happening, our Strange uses the Darkhold to dreamwalk into Ponytail Strange, but not before Christine comes in acting like a stuck-up bitch, and again relays the same stupid theme of this multiverse movie.
All you strangers, you're the same.
Oh, shut up and actually be useful for once.
You're right. We are all the same.
No, you are clearly not all the same. Shut your mouths. Oh, forget all that stuff. Look, Evil Dead reference! I pog-faced and clapped when I understood this reference. So Main Strange uses Ponytail Strange to get to Mount Wonderful Boar, and oh, hang on a bloody blimey second. What is this he has on his fingers? Could it be that sling ring thing that all sorcerers are supposed to have? But Ponytail Strange very obviously did not have this in the intro scene. That's astounding. Also question, how does our Strange know where Mount Wonderwall is and even know of its existence? He didn't know the Book of Ashanti was real, and the movie made it seem like Wong only knew about the temple as being one of those well-kept secrets only known to the Sorcerer Supreme. I mean, Strange seems surprised that there was even another book in a different universe when Carl mentioned that he guards the Darkhold in his world. Ah, who gives a fuck, right? We're at the final act, so we need to rush to that big ending action scene and the final emotional payoff. Stephen, however, hits a roadblock, you see, because it is apparently forbidden to possess a dead body, and the souls of the damned are now trying to drag him to hell. Sam Raimi reference. But fear not, because Doctor Strange has kindly asked for this non-powered fucking civilian to fight off the souls of the damned in case they attack him. What do you mean, in case they attack you? You know it's forbidden. Surely this is a guarantee they will attack you. And what the fuck is Christine going to do against evil spirits? Well, because this movie is really fucking stupid, she manages just fine.
Go back to hell.
Ew, this is so cringe. Guilty.
So after that riveting cinematic excellence, Christine helps Doctor Strange, the sorcerer, by reminding him, hey Stephen, you're like a master of the mystic arts, dude. Just like, use those spirits, man, and you'll be good. Did you know you could do that? So Strange is all like, oh man, that's some real shit. So he remembers this fact all of a sudden, which may have been more helpful prior to possessing a dead body and knowing the souls of the damned would attack him, but then we wouldn't have gotten this certified badass cool moment.
Go back to hell.
Ugh. So Strange absorbs the spirits and starts flying over to the temple. Well, golly gee, I sure do hope he makes it to save Chavez in time, because that whole souls of the damned bullshit leading up to when Strange actually gets to the temple to fight Wanda is literally just under 7 goddamn minutes. But luckily for our hero, Scarlet Witch was having a dementia moment as we see her just staring at the fucking wall for no reason while Chavez is floating above the throne. Like, what the actual fuck are you doing, Wanda? No, seriously. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck is this filming choice? The last time we see these two, Wanda is draining the bloody life force out of America Chavez, and the very next time we see them, Wanda is all like, that's me on the wall drawing. I like the wall drawing. But then she snaps back to reality when Zombie Strange arrives, and then she says a weird thing.
Dreamwalking, you hypocrite!
Hypocrite for what, exactly? The dreamwalking? That was never the fucking issue, you screeching tart. Yes, dreamwalking causes incursions, but the dreamwalking was not the crux of the conflict here. It was the fact that you, the Scarlet Witch, was knowingly using the evil Darkhold book to kidnap and murder a teenager to steal her powers so you could invade another universe, which will also cause an incursion, by the way, to kill that universe's Wanda Maximoff, then kidnap and brainwash those children and live happily ever after until an incursion kills you all. Besides, I thought in your opinion he was a hypocrite because he gave the Time Stone to Thanos in Infinity War, because he, quote, broke the rules and became a hero from it. Look, I'm not going to go into all of this again and how it's nonsensical for her to use this as an excuse for her own selfish and evil behavior because, well, I already did, and those rules that Doctor Strange had were self-imposed anyway. He wasn't bound by the universe itself to never break the rule. In his mind, he had to break his rules so that he could save the universe, Wanda. He's not going out mind torturing and murdering innocent people just so he can go and play pretend parent. Just shut up. So now, epic magic fight scene happens that is really anticlimactic as it shows who is supposedly one of the most overpowered superheroes in the MCU right now, Scarlet Witch, just kind of cowering from the flying demon spirits and flicking her hands at them every so often and then getting very easily trapped by them. Plus Wong, but only for a limited time of course, so that Strange and Chavez can have one of the most uninspired and rushed emotional payoffs in the movie. just so they can inject America Chavez into this stupid fight scene and be the plot device she was born to be from the start, and deliver the other rushed emotional payoff of the movie. So, what is Stephen Strange's big plan for her to activate her incredible powers? Guide her as she starts throwing punches and kicks to activate star portals? Or perhaps some bullshit made up spell to help her focus her powers so that she doesn't accidentally cause a massive portal to go off and suck them all through? Of course not. That would be a practical solution to this scene. What we get is this.
I've come here to tell you to trust yourself. Trust your power. That's how we stop her. When you're gonna kick that witch's ass.
Stephen just tells her to use her power. Just like, yeah, you go for it, kid. Kick her ass like a badass. Risk your life trying to fight someone who has easily bested two of the most powerful sorcerers in this universe. I'm sure you'll be fine. Wink. And she does in fact do that after we get one of the most cringe-inducing and eye-rolling attempts at being cool action person trying to be cool until Jane Foster in Thor Love and Thunder.
Uh-huh.
Chavez then proceeds to smash Wanda Maximoff, a normal human being with no super invulnerability, full fucking force with her star power, and Wanda just tanks these hits like they didn't previously break concrete and a giant glass prison earlier in this very movie. I mean, for fuck's sake, the equivalent of this would be if in Infinity War, when Iron Man fought Thanos and Thanos knocked Tony's helmet off his face, he then punched the shit out of Tony full force in the face and Tony just kind of shrugged it off and continued fighting with no visible bruising whatsoever, because I guess he's just Superman now. What a mess. So the fight culminates with that rushed emotional payoff I mentioned before, with Chavez opening a portal to Earth 838, and literally just gives Wanda exactly what she's been after this whole time.
I can't beat you, so I'll give you what you want.
Yeah, that's kind of a big fucking problem, Chavez. You've just sentenced innocent Wanda to death and now these kids are held hostage by a psycho witch villain and you're now responsible for the destruction of 2 universes. Gee, thanks. Ah, but wait. This is all according to plan, because in doing this, when Wanda is confronted by innocent Wanda and she sees these 2 children crying and screaming and terrified of this evil witch hurting their real mother and coming to take them away, she will finally come to the realization that all of this is in fact the wrong thing to do. Sweet, holy Jesus shitting fuck. This is the payoff for Wanda's so-called arc to what essentially boils down to her thinking,
I'm the bad guy?
Yeah.
So, when Doctor Strange and Wong literally pose the 2 obvious questions to challenge Wanda's choices, she either ignores it and reacts like a petulant moronic child, or she acts like a petulant moronic child but says, no, but just the mere action of America Chavez handing this to her on a silver fucking platter makes Wanda suddenly go into self-reflection sad mode and is all like, oh no, it turns out that trying to kill other Wanda in front of her children was a bad idea, and that trying to make these kids who aren't mine and don't know me be forced to love me as if I'm their mother after I have killed their mother was also a bad idea. I love, by the way, that the line Wong said to her earlier asking, is it not enough that these children are loved by a Wanda Maximoff that exists in their universe? And her response to this was, yeah, shut up, you die now. But 838 Wanda says the exact same thing to her when she's breaking down in tears.
No good they'll be loved.
and now it's supposed to be all good. Like, oh, phew, that thing Wong said that I totally blew off earlier makes total sense now, and I'm super in the wrong, guys. Did this entire final payoff seriously just take Wanda getting here for all of this to happen? Like, was this only possible because Chavez made it happen rather than Wanda getting it to happen herself? If that's the case, then America should have just allowed herself to be killed and let Wanda take her power if this was always the outcome, right? America clearly had no qualms about being sacrificed near the end for Strange to take her power, even though that's its own level of stupid considering how much shit she gave Ponytail Strange about doing the exact same thing to save the multiverse and called him a traitor for it, but never mind. So why not just let things run their course if Chavez and Strange were so randomly confident out of nowhere that Wanda wouldn't go through with her plan considering the things she had done just to get here? Are the people that still defend this movie as being good seriously satisfied with this payoff? This makes your beloved Wanda Maximoff look like a naive, stupid child who kicks and screams and demands she gets what she wants or she will hurt you and curse you out and murder you, and when she finally gets it, the result is, oh no, what I did was a bad thing, wasn't it? Oh no, I am the monster. I'm sorry, Mummy. I'm sorry, Daddy. I'll never do it again. I shall now commit self-murder by way of falling rocks to atone for my actions, and it's totally not because I want to escape justice again. But this action is not just a suicide speedrun for Wanda, it also apparently destroys the very existence and magic of the Darkhold in this and every universe.
I opened the Darkhold. I have to close it.
Man, the writers were very desperate to fucking wipe away the existence of the Darkhold and the Book of Vishanti as quickly as they were introduced. I mean, at least the Darkhold lasted more than one story. The fucking Book of Vishanti was introduced, not used, and then hit with a single magic blast to be burned and destroyed instantly. What a fucking waste of everyone's time these plot devices were. You will be sorely not missed. And is this seriously the method that it takes to destroy this ancient evil temple full of chaos magic spells? Just destroy the building and it all goes away? No secret curse or spell that gets rid of it for good? Such lazy bullshit. First the Darkhold book being one-shotted by a fucking knife, and now the original Darkhold throne mountain temple thing being destroyed by demolition. It's very plain to see here, but magic in the Marvel Cinematic Universe sucks elephant testicles. Back to Strange and Christine with their emotional payoff that I couldn't give two shits about because it was never important before in Stephen's story, but they want to make it important now for some reason, so here it is. But before that, here's an annoying line of dialogue.
She did the right thing.
Yes, she did.
Oh, go fuck yourselves with a barbed wire baseball bat, you insufferable cock sandwiches. Right thing, my arse. Yeah, it fucking took her long enough, wouldn't you say? Just get me through this. Lord almighty, there's only 5 minutes left.
I love you. I love you in every universe.
Here's me on the scale of caring. I'm at 0.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to wrap up this shitty present into a neat little bow where we go back to Kamartaj and the sorcerer population has seemingly regenerated after the initial massacre, and this temple populated with sorcerers are using traditional building equipment to repair the damages. You have fucking magic, you troglodytes. What, you can't conjure up a spell to fix things now? Forget it. We're at the end now. Nothing matters. We have a happy moment between Strange and Wong, then Strange and Chavez, where Chavez says,
I'm glad I fell into your universe.
Oh, golly gee shucks. What makes you think I would give 2 fucks about that?
So my kid.
Well, you really shouldn't be, because she is going to cause an incursion now. Good luck with that. So Strange says his goodbyes for now. He fixes the watch Christine gave him, because I guess that was also a payoff for his non-existent arc in this movie. Proceeds to have a stroll down a New York street, and then...
What the hell was that?
That's that's it. That is in fact the worst MCU movie thus far. And I really truly believe that, and I hope I have convinced you all of that to a good extent, and also convinced any of you that still believe this movie has well-written plotting and characters, that it actually contains the opposite of well-written. Because as well as the overarching multiverse plot that is broken from the get-go, the characters for the majority of the runtime are, well, non-existent. As plainly as I can put it, these are characters without character. Everyone has selective intelligence. Doctor Strange and Wong are selectively good or bad at using magic depending on what the plot needs for them to be so we can get to the next scene. Doctor Strange specifically has an incredibly paper-thin arc in this movie that amounts to things about his character that we learn are completely made up for this movie alone, and they don't even link well to him as a character. One being that he, quote, always has to be holding the knife, plus his unrequited love for Christine, which I've gone through already. It doesn't matter. It's really that simple. He moved on from her after the first movie. It's a nothing burger of a subplot, and the whole holding the knife thing is, I suppose, a dig at him being selfish, which causes more problems. But see, this is confusing to me, as his actions and choices are ultimately in essence selfless, because he is a superhero whose very choices and actions are to save people and the world and the multiverse. Now this brings me to the action in this movie, which is essentially uninspired, unimaginative placeholder moments to keep casual viewers and fans interested for long enough so the movie can focus on the talking scenes drenched in exposition or superficial emotional character moments that have either no payoff, a disappointing payoff, or no development to them whatsoever. America Chavez is basically the walking, talking plot device of this movie, and her character amounts to her being sad that she is in this situation and sad that she teleported her parents away to another universe. But it's fine, because Strange said they're alive, so they're probably alive. Chavez also seems to be very selective in when she can or can't control her powers when stated that fear triggers them. It activates in certain moments, but then doesn't in others, because the filmmakers have a story to tell and logical consistency would just get in the way of that. It's also not made apparent if she was born with these powers or they just randomly materialized in that moment when the bee landed on her hand. I mean, does everyone in her universe have powers? If not, why is she the only one? Am I just going to get bullshit cop-out answers for these questions that amount to, shut up, nitpicker, all of these things will be explained in the next Disney Plus TV show product, but let me use headcanon to argue against you anyway because I need to hardcore justify my like for this movie and feel like I'm not wasting hours of my life consuming all of this product and saying all of it is good. Perhaps I'm projecting slightly here, but you can't say that I'm that far off the truth, can you?
There is only one America. Like, she doesn't go and meet other multiversal variants of herself.
That's a good question. And I think that's the sort of thing that I'd like to see explored, you know, in the next chapter of America's story.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
Finally, on the character shit list, we now cross off the name of Wanda fucking Maximoff. There is really nothing more to say that I haven't already brought up. This character has been fucking thoroughly and royally botched, and all in service of some omnipresent theme of Wanda calling out the quote, hypocrisy of other heroes, namely Doctor Strange, while she is being vilified for her actions, and she is somehow surprised or downright insulted at the mere notion that she just might be the arsehole in this scenario. Spoiler, she is. She was last time, and she is even more so now. One last thing about Wanda that is always brought up with the defense squad for this movie as the prime get-out-of-jail-free card for her character to absolve her of any and all wrongdoing. Sing along if you already know the words. She was being corrupted by the Darkhold. Yeah. So to be perfectly blunt here, because I've argued this point to death, and I am more than willing to continue arguing against it if people still feel inclined to bring it up, I don't fucking buy it. I don't believe the movie has worked hard enough to convince me whatsoever that Wanda has been corrupted the entire runtime. Everything she does, everything she says is from her own thought process and personal motivations that led up to this point. Now, I'm not saying it makes sense for her to get to this point, I'm just saying that the movie presented it as such, and how can anyone be satisfied with this explanation of Wanda being corrupted and still be invested with her big emotional turn in the final act if she was supposed to be corrupted the whole time? Why would she be having these supposed merciful and heartfelt moments in the movie if she was also being corrupted with evil? You can't have it both, people. You can't say that she is in the clear because the book warped her mind and corrupted her, and also say she had complete agency all the other times and was motivated by her grief. That ain't gonna fly on my watch. Again, I mentioned this earlier, but it bears repeating for my point. Why are we so quick to instantly accept and unanimously agree that Sinister Strange was very clearly evil and chose this dark path because he lost his way and was motivated by selfish needs, but when it comes to Wanda Maximoff, people bring up the Darkhold as corrupting her, so when she does anything evil, it's either not her fault or, God fucking forbid, it was done for a good reason in some people's strange and warped minds. It's an interesting thought, isn't it? Well, with all that being said, I sincerely hope this was all worth it for everyone who enjoyed this movie. I suppose you can get over character assassination and abandonment of logic rather quickly as long as you have a good chunk of juicy cameos to suck on and some superficial references to the comic books. Oh, and last but certainly not least, I couldn't possibly forget the two men responsible for this disastrous fucking nightmare of a movie to exist. The hack writer of Loki, one Rick and Morty episode, and future writer of a Star Wars project, Michael Waldron, and naturally the movie's director, Kevin Feige. You two chucklefucks have no idea of the irreparable damage you have done to your own franchise, and even if you did, would you really even care when you're staring at these kind of numbers? I really do wonder, even though we all know the answer. But alas, thank you so very much for joining me on this wretched journey through the Marvel hellscape, especially as this will officially be the final Marvel Studios related piece of media I will ever cover on this channel in review form. I plan on trying to do more action scene dissection videos, and even, get this, a video in the future praising something. I know, right? How novel. I would also like to quickly thank all of the people that subscribed to my channel and getting me into the triple digits, all thanks to a certain silly meme video taking the piss out of a Resident Evil Netflix show.
Shut that cunt's mouth or I'll come over there and fuck start her head!
So thank you all again to my regular viewers and hopefully some more new viewers. And while you're not watching me here, you can find me on this nice chap's channel, Pendulum, who narrated the article earlier. I frequently collaborate with him and other like-minded expert media analists to shit on awful but hilarious movies and video games and the like, and he's got some good content, so go give that a watch as well. I will also leave a link to the Discord where we all congregate to talk about things and stuff and things, and maybe share some offensive memes. Who knows what could happen? I'll even leave the door open to people who may want to take the time out of their lives to defend these poorly written pieces of media that they like, that I have so expertly destroyed with facts and logic, and we can have ourselves a nice wee old civilized debate/chat about it. Anyway, I shan't be keeping you here any longer than I must. I hope you are thoroughly satisfied with the content. I'm TCAP. Goodbye.
Arigatou gozaimasu! Bye 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 bye.